Oh, with the Zoom, I'm not sure.
Do I need to join or?
Can you try joining and see if it works? Oh, there they are.
I'm the only one here so far.
Oh, really? Make sure to mute yourself because I'm on it too. Okay. How's it going?
Oh my God, that was becoming, wow.
Today's just a build day, right?
Yes, sir.
It is, I'm gonna do a quick 15-minute getting set up thing and then let you guys run and we'll be here to help. And then I'll spend the rest of the time playing NetHack, honestly.
What's that?
Don't know about NetHack? Oh, dude, that's like a 25-minute like diatribe about the greatest game in the history of mankind.
Is it like one of the first games?
Yeah, that when they ported the PDP-7 over to the PDP-11, a guy by the name of Dennis Ritchie was really annoyed. He had to rewrite his video game that he'd been playing. And so he decided to create a compiler for a programming language, so we wouldn't have to rewrite the entire program every time. And the compiler is a C compiler. And they decided needing an operating system for that compiler to run on, so he wrote the Unix operating system.
Oh, wow.
He literally wrote the Unix operating system and C to get the early version of NetHack, which was called Rogue, running on up to 2011. And it's been in development for like 40 years. It's fantastic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
all command line based.
Yeah.
Right, like a dungeon crawler. But because the UI hasn't changed for 40 years, it just gets deeper and deeper. So like, we started a pet, you can teach the pet how to fetch, you can teach it how to steal stuff out, go stores where you should start shopping. So watch the Wednesday and the game is so I have died in so many different ways. I've been playing it for 22 years. I've never beaten it.
Oh, wow.
I try not to do online spoilers.
Yeah.
Part of it, but it is really, really bad. It's good. It's like for months. And the nice part is it erases your save file and dead. Yeah. You get one life. Starts from scratch. You get one game and one life. You can't like, there's no save points, and when you close the game, it saves it, and you start the game. It's fantastic.
All right. Well, it looks like it's just Dancy, and then we got Tondalia online, so we can go ahead and get started, Bobby. Here, why not? I'll mute myself, and you can, so they can hear you.
Wow. Can you hear me in Tulsa? Excellent. Jim, Tom, Susan, Becky, Lacey, it's good to see all of you again. Did I get anybody? No, excellent. Okay, so we'll eventually get everybody's names. I'm just really, really bad with them. But okay, so the class assignment is on there. You guys are going to make a spreadsheet using functional programming. It's an excellent exercise. I had a little bit of problem on Chrome, so if you can't get past the first exercise on there, you might want to try using Firefox. Just FYI, because I couldn't get it working. I'm like, what kind of idiot am I? So for whatever reason it broke on me, but that could just be like plugins on my browser too. So give it a try, check it out. Before we get started, I want to spend no more than 10 minutes showing you guys how to take the work that you're doing on Free Code Camp, saving it into your local folder, and then putting it up on GitHub. Okay, so that you can keep a local copy of it, actually run it and see it on your local machine. And if you wanted to, you could even take the exercise you did and push it up on a server at some point. Okay, plus it gets you using the command line, get you using Git again, and shows you kind of how the workflow is. So I thought we would start with that real quick.
Are you share your screen on Zoom?
Oh yeah, that's going to help too. We don't like the curve. We're just gonna make them watch from a distance. Um, All right, can you see my screen okay?
Yes.
I took this picture of the Oklahoma River myself. I was driving across the bridge one morning after dropping my daughter off at school, and I saw this and I was like, holy crap. So I parked the car right on the side of the bridge, ran over to the side, took out my camera, took a picture. It's the best photo I've ever taken. So, I mean, minus the ones, what you can't see is that there's actually a guy and a girl underneath that tree right there that I think were having a sweet moment with each. They were, I mean, it wasn't like they were naked or anything, but you know, they were having a moment with the sunrise themselves, but it's actually better than on this screen. I'm not sure what-
looks way better.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, I mean, other than the pictures of my kids, which are the most beautiful pictures ever, but, right. Okay, so let's go through this really quick. I'll show you guys how to save this on here. Everything you do, you can copy off of the exercises from Free Code Camp and put them into your own project, your local directory, run them from your local directory on your local machine, okay? And so that's just kind of what I want to show you. So we're going to start here. I'm going to go up to repo and create a new repo. I am so creative with my names that I am going to call this, I don't know, spreadsheet for functional programming spreadsheet, right? I'm going to add a README to it. Remember that last week, some of you guys didn't get the README. That's because you got to check this button right here and then make sure it's public, because otherwise you have to pay $5.99 a month or something, right? Create the repo. Excellent. Going to hit code here. Make sure I've got SSH clicked so we don't get that weird login issue. Going to copy this. All right, and I'm going to, let's make sure y'all can see my command line. I'm going to make sure I'm in my projects directory because this is where I keep all of my source code projects, right? There's the stuff we've been working on. And I'm going to do a git clone. And then I'm going to cd into that git repo. And you'll see your README in there, right? So far, so good? Everybody? Anybody? Excellent. All right, so let's go over to what we've been working on. Oh my goodness, this is gonna be tough to see. So on your Free Code Camp, if I can zoom in a little bit, you'll notice they give you like 3 files here, right? Index, your style, and your CSS, okay? So all you've got to do, if you want to try running this on your local machine, is to click on like the index file. We're going to highlight and copy all of this file. Open up Visual Studio. I'm going to paste it all in there and I'm going to save it. Go away, I don't need that. We're going to do the same thing for style CSS. Styles, I always have to remember the S. Paste. That's not gonna work. Sorry, I'm using a Paste it in there. And then finally, we're gonna do it for JavaScript file, which in my case only has this. It's called script.js. So we're gonna open one called and save that one. So once I get done, I should have 4 files in here: an index, a README, a script, and a style.css file. Good. And that's it. We do need to check. This is something to kind of keep in mind if you're looking through this stuff, but we do need to check that the pathing is correct. So /style means that that style folder is in the same folder as our index.html file. And the .script.js file, let me hide the CSS. Sorry, it's a lot harder to use the screen looking here when it's than it is there. And you'll see here the .script.js file means that all 3 of those files need to be in the same folder, okay? As long as that's all straightened out, then we can actually run it. And let me show you how to run it on your local machine, okay? So this is great. If you open it up though, you're gonna have some problems because you really need to run it in a web server that's kind of hosting it up. It changes the pathing and things like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our trusty node tool to do node install live server. And I'm going to do -G on here. This will install it globally. So after you run this, it's kind of like installing Node. Once it's installed, you don't have to type this again. You can just type live server in any folder you're in. It'll look for an index.html file and it will load it up and you can hit it with your browser. So if I do this, it goes, hey, I'm going to download some stuff. Cool. And then we will just do live server. If I go to 127, so you guys saw the message on there. Server is already in use on, oh, that's not the one I want. Excellent. Cancel that one. Let's do this one. Okay, so right here you can see, if you go to here in your web browser, gosh, I can't see anything. Could just be that I'm old, but anyway. And congratulations, here's our website that doesn't have anything because we haven't done anything with it yet. But just to demonstrate that I'm not totally insane on this, I'll open up the index.html file. We'll go down to this div tag. This is not part of the exercise. I'm just showing you that you can change this stuff. Hello world. And it will automatically, once you save the file, it'll automatically refresh your browser for you so that you can see your changes as they're happening right there. Okay. Then finally, as we're all done, we do git status. We got lots of files, git add -a, git commit, chilling. I'm going to make one small change to the README file, which I recommend you guys always do, okay? So I just told you how to get the server set up and running, told you how to run it, and then told you where to look for it, right? That's kind of obnoxious to have to remember every time. So if you put it in your README file, it'll actually show up on GitHub in the README file on there. So I do vim README. I'm going to add a section called setup. And I'll just tell it to do npm install live server. Right. There's my. All right, so now that's in my README file. I can go in there and remember how to set up the server. We do this on enterprise sites. Like if you went to Bison, we actually do all the setup instructions in the README so that new developers can come in and figure out how to get set up and running. If you can't get set up and running in 20 minutes, it means that you don't have enough documentation on how to get set up and running because every environment's different. Every one of them is different. So if you don't have it documented someplace, then it takes developers, even experienced ones, a long time. It took me 2 weeks on one customer that I was consulting with to figure out how to get their dev environment set up, which is stupid. It's 2 weeks of wasted work. Instead, a README file update. I could have gone through, got it set up, boom, we've been good to go, and I could start writing code that actually matters. So I always update the README with this stuff. But since I made a change, we need to do a git status. Hey, look at there's a file change. Git add README commit. And git push. And because I've done all these git push, I can see my git stats because I love to see all of the green dots. That's just the bar on the GitHub website. So I have a new green dot for today. All right. Which means that I'm that much more hireable. Excellent. Okay. Well, you might not be able to. It's kind of a Unix thing. No, I'm kidding. It's a node module I install globally. Yeah, it's pretty handy. Generally, people, once they get used to command line, want to do as much as they can without ever having to leave the command line because it's so much faster and so much better. So there's a whole bunch of tools that I use on the command line to keep me to do stuff. So questions, comments?
I'm getting errors when I try to install live server.
Anybody else getting yours too?
Yeah, I'm getting.
All right, I'll sit down over here.
Nancy, will you paste the error slide?
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to do a sudo if you're on a Mac because it's trying to install it globally.
But shouldn't have to do. I mean, it means you have something set up wrong.
It probably means npm is installed with a local,
Yeah,
locally installed global settings.
they can just install it locally then.
Try to do this, type npm. Sorry, npx. Space install and server. Live space server. No, sorry, not space. Live dash server.
Oh,
No, that will work. You definitely need to have the. Yeah, there we go. See that and run. Live server doesn't have execution. Yeah. Do it without doing global install, or install it in the local directory, but then you're gonna have to run live server via. Back. Yeah. Sorry, that was just. Hi.
yeah, one second, I'm trying to fix Dancy's real quick.
Maybe something wrong.
So you did MPX and we want to do NPM. Oh, you did that next.
I think the easiest way is probably not to install globally and then just put a script to do.
This is all fine. Here's about that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are just warnings.
Okay.
That's not, yeah.
Okay, I was like, did I do something wrong again?
Okay, so I did something a little bit.
Is it, you're on the mainline server?
Um.
They can also, some of these, did you teach people MPX?
I did NPX, but live server doesn't have an executable. So try to run, when I try to run NPX on his, it won't actually start. Because I was going to, that's the first thing I tried.
MPX like so. Oh, wow.
The other option is I just did I did a live server install, non-global, and then added a script to do node live server inside of the package.json.
So I think we should see if they can just do MPX live. server.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. That's easier.
And then. Okay, that's working for some of them, Bobby. And then you share something that's like. Sometimes you almost always find it can work. That's a very finite on students.
If you do NPM run start, I'll give the live server. Yeah, it's not a thank you.
This might.
Get it on back. You want me to, see if I can try NPX live server?
Yeah, because he's on bed. The node module is fine, since you installed it, I believe. Are you, do you want to install it?
I don't know, it was very expensive.
NPX live server worked for me too now. It didn't before anything, but
Okay, and then.
so. To what? You can, yeah, give it a shot, see if it works. All right, guys. Okay. If you're in that folder and you, did it work? Okay, if you're in that folder and you're just, and you should be able to type NPX live server. NPX is a tool that lets you run NPM packages. It downloads them, then executes them. It starts them up. So it doesn't create a local copy. It'll like copy it down every time you run it, but it takes 8 seconds to download it and run it. So you don't have to kind of keep it. So see if this works in that folder for you.
Install instead of just NPX live server.
You did?
Yeah, when we were doing, we did NPX install live server.
Oh, instead of just NPX live server.
Yes.
Who can I help? Not you. And not you. Yeah.
Well, if you don't remember that, it's not.
It's bad.
Right?
I know it was bad. It was like.
I was like.
Oh, yes, I know he loans me and sad. Yes.
Yeah.
And now that I remembered that, all righty. Who needs some help? Anybody? Yes, no?
Actually, like figuring it out.
Hey, you obviously have something wired wrong in your brain. You just think a lot. That's good. That's good.
Nobody said it was ever a benefit. Morning, I was happy I'm here. Look at what we. Yeah, that one.
We're good? Everyone okay?
I'm good. I think for now. Well, you guys.
So they don't want to.
At all, honestly, it's, and the teacher, you'll find it the very best way to learn this stuff is to let you have a figure it out. That's the bad. I was gonna stop sharing on, is that okay? All right. I'm also likely to turn off the screen here, but that's a live server thing.
Hey, Dancy.
Hey.
Will you share your screen and I can help with whatever's happening currently?
Yeah, let me hop on Zoom on my computer. Did you invite me to, or invite the?
Yeah, don't worry about it anymore. I did, yeah.
I was like, I can't share my screen that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, hopefully that works.
So this is what happened when I did XPL live server.
Go to your. Are you running?
Ubuntu.
Oh, nice. Okay. Um. Oh, it's trying to serve it from the Windows directory. Let me. What is that called? Like Ubuntu subsystem or something for Windows?
WSL.
I turned off my speaker because it was going
Yeah.
in the whole room, so
Yeah.
just tap me.
Okay.
WSL or WLS. I think.
Is it Windows Ubuntu?
Like Windows Linux service or Windows service for Linux. WSL. Yeah. There's some sort of like heart walk fundraiser going on in downtown right now, and it's really distracting.
So does the VS Code live server work for you?
Yes, when I use VS Code live server, so
But that's not
I have-
through WSL though, right?
right, when I don't do it through WSL, the VS Code live server works. So like when I use command line, I'm more familiar with Ubuntu, so that's what I've been using. So it's like I've got two
Yeah.
different workspaces, one on Windows and one on Linux, depending on which GitHub interface I use.
Okay, let me see the error exactly again whenever you run it.
This one or the one on the web or the browser?
Hit Control C and hit Control C again. Is it not killing the server?
It's oh, there it goes.
There you go. All right, and then hit up and run that command again, the npx. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me read that. All right. Localhost Ubuntu home DC. Okay. Go back to the terminal. Let me see that error. No, geez.
Yeah, this is what it did last time too. It's like it's like in an error loop. There it is.
UNC pass are not supported. All right, so I found this. So kind of the name of the game here is like find the first error that seems like is like the starting the issue. So that's like the first error that comes out. So like you then Google search that and you hopefully find like a Stack Overflow or some kind of response of what's going on. So
Could you share something with me?
I sent like a Stack Overflow link in that thread in Slack. That's what I'm looking at now.
Which thread?
The um the one that had this that
Oh, there it
screenshot
is.
right there. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So we may try. Yeah, we may. Did you install Node in this way where they have you do apt-get and then install NVM? So I just sent a different link.
Trying to think how I installed it on this machine. I did it a week ago.
Because I think it might be running Node like through that Command X thing or whatever. So it's like running like Node on Windows. And since
So
you're
should I-
using the WSL, it probably makes sense to install it in Ubuntu. So keep scrolling down and do this first command here, this sudo apt-get install curl. So apt-get is the like Ubuntu package installer. And usually if you're going to install something like Node or any other language or something like that, usually apt-get is like what you'd want to be using for it. So copy that command right there.
Should I uninstall Node first?
I think it is probably okay that it's installed in Windows. So let's see so kill this thing with Control C. And then, yeah, paste that command.
Do I need to put the URL there?
No, I think that's it. Just hit cool. All right, and then go back to the instructions and copy that next thing. I would just like copy and paste that stuff. You don't want to mistake typing it wrong. Sweet. Okay, hold on, let me read this. Yeah, I think we have to okay. Yeah, so close this terminal and open a new one. You can probably do it by okay, never mind. Okay, so now you should be able to do that. Okay, yeah. Good. Okay, so that means NVM's installed now. And what you can do is, NVM is Node version manager. So there's a bunch of different versions of Node. They like release new versions and stuff like that. And so Node version manager makes it easy to like upgrade what version of Node you're using. And you can have more than one installed, which is nice. So do NVM ls, which won't return anything because you shouldn't have one installed, I don't think quite yet. And so what you can do is do NVM space install and then type 20, which means we want to install version 20. So hit enter. Okay, so now it says, hey, you're using Node version 20 now, which is good. And so now you should be able to do Node -v. And so you can see, hey, that's the version you're using of Node. And let's try to do, is this the folder that had the stuff that you made in it, or are we in a
No.
different spot now?
Okay.
Cool. All right. Will you do cat space and then do the package.json? And you can always hit tab whenever you've like typed in it. Yeah, good. Okay, so hit enter. Okay, so I think we want to get rid of the local live server because we can just run npx lets you like run things globally without having to install them and stuff. So you can do rm that works too. Just do code space dot to open the whole space, put a space after the E. And then dot, that'll open up this whole folder in VS Code for you. And then delete the package JSON and the package lock JSON and the node modules folder. And then that node modules folder is where all the, yeah. Okay, and then go back to terminal. I'm not sure what that readme swap is, by the way. I may delete that too, but see that, yeah. I would just delete that.
Yeah, I don't know what
Okay.
that is.
And then let's try to do npx live server now. Yep, just type Y and then hit
Do I
enter.
need to do the global command?
No,
Okay.
so npm is the node package manager, and it's what we use to install dependencies for a specific project. So, you know, you may be working on some project like this one, spreadsheet project, and you might need oh, cool. That's cool that VS Code recognized that it's doing that.
Yeah.
Um,
Looks like it worked.
nice. Okay. So you might be working on like this spreadsheet app, and there might be some sort of package that you want to use for it that's, you know, gonna do something for you. But you may not need that package for some other project. And so whenever you install things, it's always like specific to whatever project you're working on. And that's what we use npm for. npx is the node like package executor thing. It's like whenever we had stuff that we would use globally, like every project, we used to like install them globally. So it wasn't installing it for just the project you're working on. It was installed like on your whole computer, so you could use it anywhere on any project. But people, there's a lot of issues with that, and so they came out with npx, which just makes it easy for you to run stuff like live server, for example, without installing it in the project, but like basically install it globally, but without some of the issues that come with installing it globally. So
Cool.
so yeah, it looks like that's working now.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Well, get cracking on. Have you already done some of the spreadsheet stuff?
A little bit, only like 3 or 4 steps, I think.
Okay. All right, we'll get cracking, and I'll be here on this call to help everybody that's on here. So just let me know if you get stuck, and we'll walk through it.
Sounds good.
Cool.
I think being at Gitwit might be more distracting than being at home.
Yeah, probably.
What?
If you're the only one there, yeah.
There, I didn't have that sound on.
You can't hear me.
I can now.
Yeah, you're the only one there. It's probably pretty distracting, yeah.
Yeah, I'm the only one here. There's hundreds of people outside. The maid service is downstairs.
Yeah.
They freaked me out when they showed up.
The cleaning people.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're gonna have a few more Tulsa folks. There's some people from the OKC cohort that are moving to Tulsa.
Oh. We're moving soon.
Yeah, in May. Oh, poor Allie.
Nice. Who?
Allie. Alonzo. It's the urgent
She's
care,
already
I
here.
guess. Oh, she's there?
Not here. She's in Tulsa already.
Oh, you said who is moving?
Yeah, that's what I thought you said.
Oh no, I was just looking at the Slack and saw Allie was in the emergency care
Yeah.
or urgent care.
She's going through it.
Somebody asked something? Sorry, I had headphones on.
No. Good.
Oh,
I was just
that was
ranting
you.
about
Oh,
some programming.
oh.
Somebody got.
Everybody good on call?
I think I'm confused on step 20 of this. Zach, can you hear me?
Hey.
I think I'm confused on step 20 of this.
Okay, will you share your screen?
Yeah.
So it's telling me should return the sum of all numbers in nums. And I'm not sure what to put here.
Yeah, so reduce by itself. I don't think, like, it usually, when I've used reduce, you have to pass it what you want it to do. So it takes two parameters. It takes like what you want to do. And then the second parameter is like what you want to start with. So nums is like an array of numbers, right?
I believe so. I don't know that we've actually created nums anywhere yet.
Scroll up and yeah, so it's saying it will be an array of numbers.
Okay.
Should return the result of calling reduce. Yeah, so you're calling reduce, but let's look up the documentation for the reduce method real quick. Yeah, good. So this is essentially the implementation that you want. This is sum. So you can see when they're calling it on line 5, on line 6, that's the first parameter. And the first parameter is a function that basically is deciding how to combine each element. So reduce, you've got an array of elements, and with reduce, your goal is to like turn it into one thing. You're trying to like reduce all the information into one thing. That doesn't have to be numbers, right? It could be like an array of strings, and you may want to turn it into just one big string, right? Which normally we use join for that, but you could also use reduce. So in this case, we want to add the numbers. So the what you want to do to combine each element is to just add them together. Now, the way this thing works is it will, for the second parameter, it takes the initial value that you want to start with. In this case, you want to start with 0, basically, because you want to add each element together. And so you have to give it like sort of this accumulator value. So you can see that on line 6, the first parameter is the accumulator, which is basically the like what it will be is the current running total, basically. So if you look at this example, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you run it the way they have it, which do they sum with initial? Oh yeah, so they set initial value to 0 there on line 4, you can see. So when it runs this, it's going to start with 0. And so on the first iteration of it, it's gonna pass in 0 as accumulator, and then current value would be the first element in the array, which is 1. And so it's gonna do 0 plus 1. Now the new accumulator is that value. So that's returned from doing that. So it's 1. And then when it goes to the next iteration, it passes in 1 as the accumulator and the current value is 2. And so it does 1 plus 2. And then now the new accumulator is 3, and it goes and does 3 plus 3. So we basically just need to pass the same implementation in FreeCodeCamp. But another example is if you wanted to just like concatenate a bunch of strings together, you would do array reduce, you would do accumulator plus current value for string concatenation. And then the initial value, what do you think the initial value would be in that case?
It would be whatever your first string or current string in the array would be, right?
Well, so you want to, so like, you have to like set the initial accumulator, right? Because it's going to go to the first element in the first like loop of the thing. So this is usually called like the like what's the term that I'm looking for? There's this term in math and I'm blanking on what it is. But like for zero, like for if you were doing if you're adding, the like 0 value you want typically is 0. But if you're doing multiplication, for example, like if you wanted to multiply all the numbers in the array, 0 wouldn't work anymore because 0 times whatever is always 0. So
Right.
the like identity, sorry, the term is identity. The identity value is 1 in that case. Because you always have to initialize it with something that's not in the array already. So in the case of strings, if you're doing string concatenation, usually we just use an empty string for the initializer.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Yeah, because you only want to concatenate the stuff that's in the array. So you don't want, with the initializer, you're not trying to introduce anything that's not in the array already. You're just trying to like give it the initializer for what it's going to do, its initial
So are they doing this backwards? Shouldn't we be creating our array first?
well, I think, yeah, I think they just want you to make this function. I'm not sure why, like, if they haven't introduced like how you're going to use it yet. I'm not sure why, but I think they just want to make the function first and then they're going to set up using it basically, I would think.
Right. So how do we know what to put into reduce if we don't have, is it just accumulator and initial value?
Well, they're telling you it's going to be an array of numbers.
Right.
So
So they're expecting you to know how to create a reduce using an array of numbers?
well, the implementation they want is sum. So
Right.
they're going to give you an array of numbers and they want you to sum them. And so you can write that function without needing to know like exactly what the array of numbers is. As long as it's an array of numbers, it'll work.
Okay. But they're expecting us to know how to use reduce on an array of numbers?
Yeah, or to look up how to like basically how can you sum an array of numbers with reduce?
Got it.
That's what they want you to figure out how to do.
Okay. So would it just be like a copy and paste of what's here?
It's exactly that, yeah.
Okay.
Example they gave is exactly that, yeah.
Oops.
But then initial value is you could just like they put it in a variable, but you can just put 0 there. And then that extra comma is potentially problematic.
That makes sense. All right, I was really confused. I didn't realize that they were like, yeah, we haven't given you this method yet, but we need you to use it and know how to use it, or at least go find it. That's where I
You had
was,
the reduce method.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure, maybe if we had like skipped something that had taught it, but there's
Probably
like,
did a lot of lessons in between this one and the last one I've done, so.
yeah. There's a few like core array methods that are pretty common. Filter, map, and reduce are kind of like the big three.
Oh yeah, we talked about that. Now I remember we talked about that on Saturday, and actually reduce was the one we didn't get to. Or on
Yeah.
Wednesday, on Wednesday. Okay. That makes sense now. All right.
Yeah, I guess he ran out of time because he got stuck on the implicit return stuff with the rocket function, which is good to see people struggle because it's hard stuff.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Zach.
Hey,
So I don't think it's a big deal with this password or passphrase.
did you do SSH or how did you do
I did do SSH, and I
you
did it
did?
the same
Mm.
on both. Like when I set it up on this machine and my desktop at home. Let me get my JavaScript up to date, my local. So you can actually see it here. Can you see it? Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, so all this is when you made your SSH key, um was that the maid? Who was that?
Oh yeah, that was he's vacuuming and he said to
Oh,
close,
okay.
he's gonna close the door.
Uh, so whenever you made the SSH key, you can choose to add a passphrase for it.
Oh, okay.
But you can also choose to just not have a passphrase, which is what I do. So if you want to get rid of that, you'll need to delete that SSH key, make a new one, and when it asks for a passphrase, just click enter. And then and don't type anything, just hit enter. And then you'll have to add that SSH key to GitHub.
I see. I guess that's what I didn't realize that if I just hit enter, I wouldn't need a passphrase. And then, so I just assumed it was necessary. Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You get to practice making SSH keys again.
Yeah. All right. So how do I remove this one?
So I think you can just do like rm.ssh, but I would just Google search like how to remove SSH keys in Ubuntu. But yeah, I think it should just be rm.rf.ssh probably is all you would need to do, but yeah, it looks like you would just rm the
Just RM.
so share your screen again. And do ls.ssh. Did you
Do
already
I need
delete?
to go out to the home directory?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, just type cd and then yeah. And then yes. Okay, so just do yeah, I think it's probably easiest just do rm space -r space .ssh. And then now if you do ls dot SSH should be no directory. Yeah, all right. So now just follow the instructions on GitHub for, and so delete those keys in GitHub. So when you go to GitHub, you'll see it and you go to your SSH keys section, like delete the ones that are there currently as well.
Okay, and then I'll have to do this
Just
again.
go
on my
ahead and, yeah, so go
desktop.
ahead and go to GitHub and um, and then go to your profile, I think, at the top right, yeah. And then yeah, click that drop down again. There should be like a settings or something. Yeah. SSH and GPG keys on the left. And then, well, I don't know if you know which one.
I don't. I'll just
We-
delete them all.
Yeah, all right, yep. And then, yeah, you'll just need to follow that guide again to make it one. I sent you the link you need in Slack.
Directly?
Wow, I just realized my profile is.
Just hit enter.
Yep, and then just hit enter here. Yep.
Oh, it says empty for no passphrase. Wow, I completely skimmed over that.
There you go.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do I need to reestablish a connection with the repo?
Did you add those SSH keys to GitHub? Like you made that SSH key and now you need to paste it into GitHub.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Okay. What's the difference between round and seal? SEIL?
The difference between, what'd you say, round?
Yeah, like math dot round instead of
Oh,
math.
and then seal. Yeah, so I think round would do like it'll round it. And then sealing is, which is what, so seal is short for ceiling. You give it two numbers. And like, if the first number is higher than the ceiling, it'll return the ceiling. So like, you could say like, you have some number, you're not sure how big it is, but you don't want it to be bigger than, let's say, like 10 or 100 or something like that. Then ceiling will keep it from going over whatever the max number is that you want.
I see. Okay. That makes sense.
An example would be like, I don't know, nobody's over 200 or something like that. So you might have like a user age input, and then you'd be like, I don't like, don't let it be over, 150 or something like that. I don't know what the oldest person is, but I don't think it's above 130. So
Gotcha.
yeah.
The instructions made that pretty unclear. They said you'll need to round up. So I used round and it said use seal instead. So
Gotcha.
I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah, it's that time. Sorry you were alone. I'm
Is what it-
planning to come up there pretty soon to be with
I
you
think
all.
we had a lot of people drop out
Yeah,
because there's some people I haven't seen since module 1. So
yep. Yep, it's par for the course. We usually end up with about a third of the people by the end of it.
that makes sense.
Yeah, of
Okay. Well, thanks for your help today.
course.
And I'll see
Have a
you.
good weekend.
You too.
Later, man.
Bye.